So we're going to take a few moments to make a conscious shift in our energy. We're going to take a few moments to slow down and drop in to more of a state of peaceful presence. So I invite you to close your eyes. And bring your awareness to your breath. Which is to say, bring your awareness to the fact that you are breathing. Simply notice the cadence and the presence of your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest and belly as the breath moves in and out. See if you can notice the breath without any narration or assessment about the breath. Simply notice the movement of your own breath. And one of the sweet things that we come to notice about the breath is that it is simply there. You don't have to effort for the breath. You don't have to do anything special. And you certainly don't have to be anyone special for the breath to be there. And perhaps let that come as a sweet relief that you don't have to be anyone special and you don't have to do anything extra. You can simply be. What a beautiful thing that right there, right in our center, there's a reminder that we can simply be, and the breath will still be there. And I invite you to bring awareness as well to the presence of heart, which is really to say, as your awareness is with your breath, simply merge that awareness of the breath with awareness of the presence of the heart. And we find a certain grace, a certain natural grace of being in the simple arising and falling of breath, the movement of breath in the presence of heart. And not only do we not have to be anyone special for the breath to be there, we don't even have to be particularly good. You could be having a bad day. you could be, perhaps you were triggered earlier and you were mean to somebody or said something unkind, or you behaved in a way that you were not proud of. And notice that the breath doesn't judge you. Again, what a beautiful thing that there's this presence of grace within us that doesn't rely on us being special or good or lovable. It's just there. And now see if you can discern a difference, either subtle or perhaps significant, a difference between the energy of the breath and the heart, which is that simple grace. See if you can notice a difference between that grace and the typical energy or activity of the mind. Feel into for a moment the simple grace of the breath. And the activity, typical activity of the mind. That is typically narrating life and assessing the meaning of everything and assessing our place in the world and reviewing the past to see if perhaps we did anything that would cause anyone to withdraw their love or their approval, or racing ahead into our future to try to make sure that we've got everything under control so we don't make any mistakes or again cause anyone to withdraw their love or approval. Feel the difference between the grace in the heart and the breath. And the typical movement of the mind. And you may notice that the breath and the heart is largely at peace, and the mind is the one that is anxious and casting about for our place in the world, our okayness. And if there is a racing of the heart or an uneasiness in the breath and the heart, it's typically originated in the mind as a thought or an unconscious belief or a conscious belief. The natural essence of the breath is grace, peace, non-judgment. The breath doesn't judge you if you were unkind at some point during the day and say, "Oh, no breath for you." No, it's always going to be there. As long as we're alive and breathing, it'll be there. And when we feel into and can discern a difference, either subtle or great, between the essence, the beingness of the breath, and the churning of the mind, when we can discern that difference, it makes it so much easier for us to choose. By what do I wish to be guided? What do I wish to be my predominant guidance system for how I feel about life? How I meet each moment? Do I want the churning, anxious, seeking mind to be my guide? Or would it maybe feel more peaceful, present, sweet, to be guided by the heart and the breath? To rest there first. When we are deciding how to be in any particular moment. It makes it much easier to make that choice when we get used to the difference, feeling the difference between the grace within and the overactive, constantly imagining various scenarios mind. And what we come to find in this meditation and in these meditations is that everything we are looking for, the ease, the peace, the freedom, the love, the connection, the openness, the wholeness, is the very nature of what we are. It is the very nature of what we already are. We simply forget that. And when we are disconnected from our divinity, our truth, our essential nature, we will feel not enough. We will feel the emptiness. We will feel the disconnect. We will feel the sense of separation, of being a bit lost. And typically we don't know why. And so we seek to solve that feeling in the outside world, in creating situations of peace and in getting love in particular ways, and in making sure we're successful and seen and validated and heard and understood. We seek that sense of belonging in the world because we have forgotten our eternal sense of belonging to ourselves, which is the belonging to love. And you can think of it this way, that what you are seeking is not out ahead of you to be found, to be discovered, to be created. What you're seeking is not ahead of you to be found or created or discovered. It's behind you. Which is to say, it is you. The very essence of you, the very core of you. And what if we were to just simply stop and surrender and allow ourselves to fall back into the embrace of ourselves, to fall back into the embrace of the perfection of ourselves that has been waiting for us our whole life. watching us move in the wrong direction, watching us run away into the world to find our truth, to find ourselves, to find our belonging. And there's a sense of, where are you going? Where are you going? To find you. And if I were to ask you in your search for self to take a step toward yourself, where would you go? The invitation is to stop, trust, find the very nature of our being within as a feeling, as a grace that we can find. Just stop, point your awareness within. Feel into the heart, feel into the breath. And if you feel any sense of peace, calm, serenity, that's you. Take 2 deep, nourishing breaths within, feeling into that grace and knowing that that is the very nature of you. Beautiful. Thank you. You are the very nature of love and peace and grace and belonging and wholeness. Reconnect to you. And then bring that authentic peace and kindness and love into the world, to play, to discover, to explore.
If you like that video, please subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Also, to make this type of video content available to others, click that like button down below. And finally, visit me at my website, chessedwards.com. I've got a link to my website down below in the description. Thank you. I'll see you soon.